trust your crypto assets to centralized exchanges that actively sell your private information and front-run your trades? Would you like to buy and sell your assets without any middlemen, intermediaries, or robots? Do you like paying slippage, fees, and having the price go up as bots steal from you on low-liquidity decentralized exchanges? The solution is NodeMarket.io. Set your guaranteed buy or sell price. No middlemen, no slippage, no bots, ever. Buy or sell 1, 10, or even 10 million tokens, and you never have to worry. OTC trades are between you and the seller or buyer, guaranteed by audited smart contracts and no human middlemen. NodeMarket.io.
Brandon.
Heyo.
Well, we got all sorts of crazy stuff over the weekend. All sorts of wild, crazy stuff.
Yeah, it was a busy weekend. It was actually pretty exciting. I mean, geez, I think this always happens. You mentioned this right before the show, but every time we hit a Monday, it's like, oh, let's hit the brakes for a second. Let's recalibrate. Let's call it a week or whatever. But then the weekend is a pretty good time.
Usually the weekends used to suck. I used to always worry about weekends. I used to be like, oh, here we go. God dang it. We're going to get crapped on by the Chinese traders. And usually when the sell-off starts is when the Asian markets open Sunday afternoon.
Yep. Yeah. In
this case, Asian markets, Bitcoin went up. And then when the American markets opened, Bitcoin went down. But it's still kind of up. I mean, altogether up. If you look at when we get behind the wall, we'll go look at all that. I did think there was a couple of interesting news tidbits. You may have seen some of these. Bitcoin options they greenlit that. So the SEC is greenlighting Bitcoin options exchange traded funds for 2 major U.S. exchanges. It's approving bids, the bids from the New York Stock Exchange, NYSE, and the CBOE, Chicago Board Options Exchange. I've been there, by the way. Pretty cool. To list options contracts for Bitcoin, BTC-based ETFs. So according to the SEC, the options ETFs were given the nod because it recently approved a rule change proposal from NASDAQ to list options on the iShares Bitcoin Trust, IBIT, which yielded positive results. Nice. Look, man. And that's BlackRock. One does not simply say no to BlackRock. So that's going to be good and interesting. And as these things get more traction when they roll out, I don't know when the official rollout is, but probably, I wonder if it'll be in time for the elections. Gosh, that'd be crazy. Anyway, it's good because ETF options markets let the financial world get regulated leverage, right, on a perpetual commodity. And it is actually supply constrained. So a lot of people were excited about this because it's the first set of options contracts against a commodity that has an actual fixed supply. Most other commodities, the supply story changes, whether it's agricultural and there's a big harvest or there was bad weather, and those are the yearly kind of annual constraints or semi-annual constraints depending on the seasons for growing. Then you have gold and some of the metals. That just has to do with mining operations and scale up and scale down in mines. You have oil, which has to do mostly with political issues. This is a 24-hour a day, 7-day a week market in Bitcoin that has an actual supply cap. So that could be quite interesting, and does open up a lot of other things that we could do once these markets are kind of rolled out. We might start looking at those once a week or more, because there will be a lot of information, at least in the way people are hedging. A lot of times people think, oh, well, options are all gambling. No, that's only on Robinhood. Pretty much everywhere else, options are a hedging mechanism or a way to grab some continual yield on an asset that's otherwise non-performing, like Bitcoin. It's a non-performing asset unless you can grab some yield, and selling options like out of the money calls against it is a good idea. And if you have cash, just a pile of cash, you can sell, cash secured puts against that pile of cash for Bitcoin. So I think it's gonna be pretty cool. I'm kind of wondering, are you gonna try to mess with this at all, Brandon? Are you gonna try to?
I don't know if I don't play around in that market that much, but I might. I mean, it's a good way to hedge. Obviously, if you know what you're doing, it's a good way to hedge, but I don't know if I want to jump into that market. I just don't care.
Well, like if you're sitting on, let's say you're sitting on 10 Bitcoin, you could sell every week the $100,000 call.
Yeah, this is a way to actually make revenue based on your Bitcoin, because that's so far out, it's not going to get called out, right? So you're just going to make a little bit of money every week, like interest.
And if it does, so what?
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, exactly. If it does, so what?
There's also some huge tax advantages to selling options, because a lot of times if you get called out of a position, it can be booked as a loss. If Bitcoin continue, like if the asset goes past the price, it's booked as a loss. It's crazy. Like options, there's some very clever things you can do with options. Anyway, it's interesting, and I'm excited about that. So the other thing, the Minneapolis Fed. Did you see this bullshit paper?
No.
I'm gonna read you part of this, okay. And I just want to get your first reaction. Okay, so the Minneapolis Fed, they just put out a paper suggesting either banning or heavily taxing Bitcoin to maintain deficits.
This is what Italy did. Okay, go ahead.
But their reasoning is magical. So this is, by the way, this is a research paper. They specifically, Bitcoin introduces what the Fed calls a balanced budget trap. I want everyone to say that to themselves. Matter of fact, everyone in the chat, I want you to write balanced budget trap.
I like when the word's trap used. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
That's a positive. That's in my mind. This is going to be a good thing for me. Buying into a trap.
Do your math. Look at both the put side and the call side. I'm not going to go into it and teach a whole fucking class right now on options, but talk to your tax man, because it's absolutely a loss. It depends on where you got in, what you got in, and all that kind of stuff. Again, do your math, buddy. Okay, so now that we know what a balanced budget trap sounds like, let's go into what it actually is. This is a scenario where the government might be compelled to balance its budget. Oh my Jesus. The researchers use Bitcoin as an example of a fixed supply private sector security that lacks real resource claims. They conclude that addressing the issue could involve banning Bitcoin or imposing taxes on it to restore the feasibility of maintaining permanent primary deficits. According to the paper, measures like these will help the government avoid being forced into budgetary constraints. So, see if I got this right. So the trap is that it might force governments to balance their budgets.
Ew, what a trap.
Whoa. A primary deficit happens. Matter of fact, because I wanted to make sure I wasn't looking at this stupid, I actually put it through GPT 4.0, and I asked it about this specific thing, the budget trap thesis, and it said the title of what it gave back to me is "The Flawed Logic of Targeting Bitcoin, Unveiling the Absurdity of the Balanced Budget Trap." This is GPT-4's language. A report suggested, okay, so this line of thinking is not just misguided, it's downright absurd. If you explore why targeting Bitcoin in this manner is flawed, you want to delve into the so-called balanced budget trap and illustrate how, if applying this logic consistently, it would have stifled any investment anyone has ever made in history. They also have another argument deeper in this paper that says that it's not fair to people now that didn't get in early because, well, they have to pay more for Bitcoin. Oh, oh, really? And so it said that it's enriching the people that were early at the expense of the people that were late. I'm not kidding.
This isn't a real story. This isn't real.
It is real. I can give you the link. Hold on. I'll go further in the article. Let's see.
No.
It goes into the whole debt thing. This is like a whole paper they came up with.
So if you bought a house in 1912,
oh, how dare you?
How dare you? That's not fair.
It's not fair. If you bought Apple stock at $8, how dare you, sir?
How dare you, sir? We ought to do a markdown.
Now, here's what's funny. In 1996, the same Minneapolis Fed, I mean, different people probably, the same Minneapolis Fed produced a paper which was called Money is Memory. And it was an intellectual exercise that made the case for Bitcoin 12 years before Bitcoin. It argued that the benefits of money to society are achieved through its function as memory, i.e., money's ability to keep track of transactions between economic agents. And it said that this would be a ledger of transactions. This is their language. It argues a perfect ledger of transactions, a perfect memory, could function as a more ideal form of money in practice. This is the same people that said, how dare you have bought Bitcoin early? How dare you, sir? So the report introduces the concept of this trap. It claims this big threat to the government's ability to maintain permanent primary deficits, which is them continually spending more than they collect in taxes, which, as you know, they're negative each year now, 1.8 trillion and climbing. Every year, the U.S. goes backwards 1.8 trillion as far as what comes in and what goes out. And that's only what we see. I'm sure it's more than that. I'm sure. Because that doesn't count how many tens of trillions are going to have to bail out Social Security and pension fund problem. Yeesh. So, but essentially it poses this threat because the government can't maintain its primary deficits, so it's going negative each year. And to avoid being forced into having to balance their budget, the government could just ban Bitcoin. Now, heavily ban it or heavily taxing it. So we want to unpack this for a second because you're going to start hearing this shit coming out of the Kamala camp at some point. I'm certain of it. Like, look, all these people that got in early, all of you that want Bitcoin. First of all, it wasn't 16 minutes ago that everyone in government was saying that no one wants this stuff. He's like, okay, cool. Well, no one wants it. I want it. Well, we don't. Okay, fine. Yeah. Now that other people want it, how dare you be early, sir? How dare you? So the idea is that a government should suppress a financial innovation to preserve its ability to perpetually and consistently run deficits is pretty stupid. And the argument is that Bitcoin, and it wouldn't just be Bitcoin, it would be what? Bitcoin, all securities, gold, anything that's ever gone up in value, really, must be eliminated so the government can continue irresponsible fiscal practices without any constraint. Because these things highlight the silliness of government, I guess is what I don't even know how the people at the Fed put this paper together and weren't embarrassed to give it to somebody.
They're full of They were embarrassed. There's no way.
So-
They straight faced this. No, they didn't.
Real quick, everyone that's here, I want you to write this. Running permanent primary deficits is not sustainable. How about, let's just make it even simpler. Running permanent deficits is not sustainable. You can't always spend more than you take in. Okay, so running permanent primary deficits is not sustainable. If that's all you get out of today, you're ready to go into a position in government. And funny enough, when you say this to people, they go, you don't understand it. I mean, I understand negative 1.8 trillion a year. I understand that if we're going backwards, like how many trillions can you pack on before it's like it matters? I don't know. Maybe infinite. I don't know. But it does lead to mounting national debt. In the case of the U.S., we're at 35.7 trillion total debt. Our primary deficit right now is 1.8 trillion. That will be well over 2 a year from now. And instead of addressing the root causes of excessive spending and the bullcrappery and like balance the budget, the solution is to target any emerging asset class that operates independently of government control, because that asset class highlights the poor fiscal policy of that government. So that is just so weird. And of course, it says that their other argument in there is that Bitcoin lacks any real resource claims, which is this kind of weird argument that says there's no value. And so on the one hand, they say we all got rich because we got in Bitcoin early, and it's not fair to the other people that want to buy Bitcoin. But you're telling us Bitcoin has no value anyway. So if Bitcoin has no value, what difference does it make to the people that buy the thing that has no value? It's so sloppy. Their reasoning and you got, there must be a room where there's like 6 PhDs in there that have never worked a fucking day in their life. Not one. They don't know what a hammer feels like. They've never opened a door, apparently. I don't understand what world they live in, but it's mind numbing. And so anyway, it completely discounts gold. Matter of fact, this argument could be used against other currencies that outperform the US dollar. How dare you have those other currencies? We're going to either tax them or make them illegal. If you take these arguments, all you have to do with any of these arguments is just run them all the way out. Run them along the timeline until they become so stupid and absurd that you just want to slap the shit out of these people. The same people that proposed an idea that sounds a lot like Bitcoin in 1996. Anyway, I had to go off on that because I was reading it last night.
It's so absurd, but why?
I wanted to punch an economist. I wanted to just find someone that claims to be an economist anywhere and just punch him right in their punchy face.
This should get stopped dead in its tracks. There's no way this gains traction.
Well, first of all, the Minneapolis Fed, no one listens to them anyway. Second, no one really listens to the Fed anyway. There was a big discussion this weekend in a couple of outlets saying how other central banks are no longer going off of what the Fed does. They don't care anymore. They're just doing their own shit.
As they should.
Which is kind of funny because it makes
credibility.
All those guys are like, oh, well, who are we supposed to preach to? No one, dude. Flipping no one. Because the bond market does what the bond market is going to do, whether or not the Fed catches up and tries to take credit for it. This debt reset thing. I don't know, man. I don't know how you reset the world's debt. Those people are still owed money.
I know. It's like there's a lot behind the scenes, right?
People are still owed money.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
That debt means something?
No, Brandon, hey, man, listen, man, that $100 I owe you, I had a debt reset.
So we're good?
We're good.
Well, I mean, it's like the student loans.
Well, listen, we can't all win, can we? I guess on this one I won, and you lost. It is what it is.
Hey, zero sum. That's
right. Could go either way.
Zero-sum game now.
Could go either way. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I heard another thing where, like, you heard the $1 trillion coin thing. where like the government would, the mint would create $1 trillion coins, and they would use those coins and swap them and pay off you're like, but it's not worth $1 trillion. No, it says $1 trillion.
It came out of thin air. It's like, it's because we say so.
Yeah, I know it. Well, they're like, well, it's made of platinum. Okay, is it the size of the planet Earth? Because if it's not,
trust us. Trust me, bro.
Debt reset. Okay, so anyway, I thought that was pretty interesting. So that's the Minneapolis Fed for you. But
yeah, exactly. Give me that.
I mean, what a bunch of jackass. And then that last argument really irks me. The one like, well, those of you, the people that are, they're getting rich at the sake of other people. Ain't no one twisting anyone's arm to buy Bitcoin or anything else.
It's like every other asset class ever created, you mean? Is that what it is? Oh, yeah, that's right. Every single one.
I mean, talk about some I didn't get in early.
Bunch of hypocritical nonsense is what that is.
It's a bunch of whiny bitches. It's a bunch of people that missed it because they always miss it because they're economists, and economists are not investors. They don't understand, I mean, much of anything apparently. But they imagine, I guess I would be butthurt too. Imagine you're an economist, Brandon. You spend your whole life studying input, output, microeconomics, macroeconomics, supply and demand curves. You know the Phillips curve, the Phillips cloud. You know it, man. You know it. Like the back of your hand. See, there's the curve right there. It's obvious. Look how curvy it is. And then you never actually make an investment, ever. Because none of what you know translates to the real world. So none of what you know translates to being able to make a decision. It's good to go wax and talk to people and sound smart and say interest rates 4 times in a discussion and maybe throw in the word swaps here or there to make people be like, that guy's for real. You heard him say swaps? I don't even know what that means. I watched
debt swaps.
I watched that show, Wife Swap. That's as close as I get. So
same thing.
These dudes that are very, very educated don't know shit about the real world. They've never benefited from all of the knowledge they have. And then they see a bunch of other people, many of them YOLO'd into these new asset classes, gold included, all of this stuff, real estate booms and all this. And after the fact, they're like, this is bullcrap, man. This is bullcrap. They just bought it cheap and then they're just selling it high. Oh, okay. Yup. It's like, yeah. Anyway, God. Yep. Yeah, I know. That's. So, I agree. I think this is a good point that Treasure's made. Money's not even money anymore. Currency's not even money. It's this weird, illusory kind of an intangible thing. Real quick now, everyone, what is your definition of money and what is your definition of currency? So just put like money equals and then currency equals. Brandon, what's your definition of currency?
Currency?
Just super simple, yeah.
Anything that can be traded for goods.
Well, I would say anything that can be traded for goods that is created by a governing body, because a currency usually has a governing body. It might be a government, but you could also have a company issue a kind of currency. A currency is an issued item, an issue.
You don't think food is a currency?
No, I don't think food is issued by. I mean, I think food can be money, and currency is money, but not all money is currency. So the way I look at it is, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying you're not wrong. So what I'm saying is, so currency would be an issued medium of exchange, right? Whereas money is anything at all that extinguishes debt. It could be services. It could be intellect. It could be money equals. I don't know if energy is enough. I've heard that argument too. That's the Michael Saylor argument. Money is energy, and I think that's a little bit too. It's too vague. I think money is anything that can extinguish debt. Yeah, I think I think money extinguishes debt, and currency is an issued thing that can be used for a variety of things, including extinguishing debt, the purchasing of goods and services. But I think that there has to be a governing body that issues a currency. Even if that's you, Brandon, even if you're the governing body. It's not like you would just like the ancient settlers were digging around and they found dollars. What do we have here? I don't even know what a president is, but I like it. So like,
yeah, that means nothing to them.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think money is anything at all that extinguishes debt. But I think what most people just think money is dollars or whatever their normal currency is. I think at a greater extent, I think Treasurer's had it right. I think anything having to do with money now is just this big opaque cloud that doesn't mean shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think gold and silver are definitely forms of money. Not my favorite, but they are. Anyway, Brandon for president. Who's in?
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Oh,
Listen,
boy.
I have a whole laundry list of crimes I'm about to commit, and I'm going to need that pardon already. I need that thing signed.
Oh, man.
Fill in the blank of my crimes. All right. Okay. Why don't we?
So we got the twin launch tomorrow. Let's say that in front of the wall. We got the twin launch tomorrow. Yeah. Be ready for that. So I think that I'm trying to have it so it's live on Node Market as soon as it's live, but it might be a delay of a little bit because we actually need their actual tokens. So if they don't send me any tokens, I can't test everything. So we'll see. Hopefully they send me some tokens.
But we do have the token contract address. We could publish that for people to add to their MetaMask wallet.
Sure, let's do that. That'll be a gimme. So we have that. So I put the request in for a few tokens.
You could do like a 30-second video how to add
Twin to your MetaMask.
How to add Twin to your MetaMask.
I'll do that later today and we'll release it just for you guys. Have fun. Have fun. Okay, easy peasy.
Okay, we should go behind the wall. Neil has spoken. And then let's see. Oh, it's going to be a good week, man. I'm pretty excited. I'll tell you. Tomorrow starts 8 to 12 weeks of fucking chaos.
Oh, is it? Yeah, I think so too. But this is a good question, real quick, before we get to the chaos. Did they give you a time of day, or are they just tomorrow?
Oh, no one gives me the time of day. Let me see.
Fair.
I can ask. Do we have a time of day for this launch?
Dope. Good question, Beth.
I'll let you guys know when they answer, but they're awake in the chat because they just messaged me back and said that they're planning on a rollout of a bunch of really exciting marketing stuff. They basically saved all their marketing for after the launch, which I think is a good idea.
Yeah, let's get it going.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we'll see if they answer there, which I'm sure they will. Okay, let's go behind the wall. We got some shenanigans to discuss, but I think tomorrow kicks off, man, like a whole quarter of.
Oh, we're going to be busy. Let's go behind the wall because there's a lot of stuff. We're going to hit some stuff today. There's a lot of market stuff. It's
going to be madness. Good, some bad, some mad, some happy, some sad. No, mostly happy. All right.
No, there's all good.
It's good. Well, sad's going to be all those people at the Fed that never invested in shit, and then they're mad that we're like.
Well, they get to go. They get to do a markdown though. They get to go back and they get to get it at $8. So we're good.
That's right. That's the only fair way. Now we like Bitcoin. Bitcoin for the future.
Then they'll mark it back up.
Behind the proverbial wall now to continue the broadcast privately for the digital investors and digital private clients. If you'd like to join us, simply go to nickblacknext.com and subscribe to one of our plans and immediately take advantage of our library of tools, tactics, and information. It's all designed to help you learn, grow, and manage your portfolio like a pro. Join us now.
Woo-wee woo-wow.
You know what's
Man.
interesting? So yesterday in the chat, they said I think it was the DPC chat. They're like, "Hey, where are the liquidation levels?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay, let me go look." And I didn't post this, but there was liquidation levels. There's a lot of liquidation levels at 71, where a bunch of shorts are. But then there was a bunch of leveraged longs at 67,000, and I'm like, "Oh, I should mention that," but I didn't. Anyway, look where it fell down to. Look where it fell down to. It goes down to 67,000, picks up those liquidation levels, and here we sit.
It's so sketch, man. I mean, it's not
It's
sketch.
it is sketch. No, you're right. It is sketch because it's kind of a joke that they can do that. But
It
they
feels
can
like-
see
It feels
those
like
100x.
it feels like exchanges are hunting these dudes. It
They
really
are.
feels like that.
That's where the movement goes. I mean,
But
you
you
can
know
look.
what? But I'll tell you this: I'm not mad. If they, I know it sounds sketch, but if you're hunting all of these gamblers, good. Fuck them.
Yeah, I
Nuke
mean,
every one of them. Nuke them back to driving fucking Uber again. I don't give a shit. Only their Uber jobs are going away because this robotaxi about to take them jobs. That's a cool
I think
chart.
so too. You like
cool.
that? So you
Yeah.
can look at the liquidation level, see these bright yellow areas. That's where there's a lot of like leverage. So anytime like 100x leverage, 50x leverage, and a lot of it. So yesterday when I looked, we were sitting up here at 70. You can see this bright yellow thing about 67. You're like, oh, that's going to get taken out. So
What are you,
pretty interesting. Yeah, what
yellow?
yeah. So now they're just putting on more shorts and stuff. Anyway, this is a song and dance. I can't read this chart really well, but there are people that can read it. But anyway, it kind of shows me the kind of the liquidation levels. I'm sure there's people that can read it better than me. But
People at the
Anyway.
Minneapolis Fed.
they probably could, be honest. Come on. But hey, listen.
Linda.
Jupiter, right? Okay. If you guys didn't claim, so you have till December 31st to claim, or else your rewards go bye-bye, which is plenty of time. But go claim it today. Go claim it today. Let me tell you why.
What
Let me
did
tell
you
you
do?
why.
Tell us. What'd you do?
Okay, so this is what I did. So I went and claimed my jupe. I'm
Okay.
gonna leave that staking. So I got a decent amount of jupe. I'm very pleased, very happy. I'm gonna use that to help with my DCA. So I originally bought Jupiter like at $1.20 something, and then I started DCAing down. I have a pretty decent DCA, but this one basically just got jupe for free, and so I put it as a zero, like a $1 USDC purchase, and then all the jupe. So then it helps my DCA go way down. So that's my DCA strategy
Well,
on
wait a minute.
the jupe.
Wouldn't it be a zero purchase?
Yes, it is, but it's easier for some reason. When I put it in my program at zero, it counts it as like an airdrop. But
You should put it
Anyway.
at 1 penny.
Sure, whatever, $1, 1 penny, same
But
thing.
you got it free.
I did get it for free. I
So
did.
Okay.
Edit it to
Come
1
on,
penny.
guy.
That's
Come on,
fine.
guy.
Okay, so it is free. Again, this Jupiter airdrop was really good, and it's going to continue for 4 more quarters at the minimum. Okay, so remember that. Now, Nick and I have a strategy we can talk about here in a second, but as far as the cloud airdrop, I got a couple thousand cloud, like 2,600, or I shouldn't say that. I got some cloud. Anyway, so
You got
what I did,
Cloud?
no, I don't know. I got some cloud. Anyway, so I went
Cloud?
and I sold the cloud, and it's just in USDC right now. I haven't done anything else.
You know
yet.
what I
So
did?
What?
I flipped my cloud back into more Jupiter and staked it.
Okay, that was my maybe thought of what I should do. Now, Jupiter, man, if we're gonna look at Jupiter is holding. Look at that. We're gonna watch it over the next 30 days. Over the next 30 days, it should drift down, but also it shouldn't at the same time. So theoretically, it should drift down because there should be sell pressure. But over the next 30 days, we're also gonna see a lot of movement towards the upside, because obviously I think that we're gonna start to enter a bull market here. Jupiter's been doing really good. It's almost to $1. It was down as low as, where did it get to? Man, it got down to, I think 69, 70, 72 cents. It got pretty low, 68 cents there back a little bit ago. So hopefully you guys, if you guys did want to get into Jupiter, nab some of that. If not, then who cares? But if you own Jupiter, don't sit on Jupiter without staking it, okay? That's number one. Now, if we look at the price of Jupiter, and this is just stupid, but I like to do this because I think Jupiter is better than Uniswap. I think they offer more features and more utility, and there's no reason Jupiter cannot be at the price market cap of Uniswap. So if we go to the market cap of Uniswap right now, Jupiter should be $4.18. If we go to Uniswap at the all-time high, which is silly, which I don't think that means Jupiter would be a $16 token, which is whatever. But I still think it can match Uniswap's market cap right now at least, and that's a $4 token, so we're good.
Well, remember, keep in mind that right now prices are not full-on bull market prices. There's always a lot of over speculation in bull markets. This gets back to what we were talking about how do you benefit from it? Well, your Jupiter tokens are staked, meaning the best you could do is 30 days after you have a 30-day cushion where you can't really move on those. And I don't think there's a wrap Jupiter that you can grab and sell that and all this kind of stuff. I mean, there may be, but
there is. No.
So,
but not yours. Like, you have to go buy it and sell it. It's a liquid staking token, but you can't do anything with yours. You can unlock it. It's a 30-day unlock, and it unlocks daily. So you get 1/30th every single day.
So Brandon and I were thinking, like, okay, how far does this go? And again, we're not thinking about the price. We're thinking about the ability to lock in some of those returns. So I think what my theory is, I want to lock about 2/3 of my returns, and I want to let some of it ride. And so if I can get a 3x, this is just my number. Everybody's got to do their own. I don't see this as a 10x play, but I do see this as a 3 to 5x as far as the Jupiter token. And I'm also counting the rewards that we're getting. So we're going to get rewards for we're going to get 2 more quarters. And is it 2 more quarters and Jupuary, or 2 more quarters?
So we get
four more total.
Yeah. So I don't know if I haven't been able to nail down if Jupuary and ASR rewards come in January, or if you get one or the other.
Probably one or the other.
I don't know. I think everything leads me to believe you get the combo.
Shit.
Yes.
So the way I am looking at it is,
which this last quarter turned out to be 17%, by the way. If you annualize that, that's pretty fat. And
if you got 3 to 4 quarters of that, so this is my second of the rewards. And so if I got 2 more quarters, I'd be close to like 70% return. Not counting the price of token. I'm not thinking about that. I'm just thinking of, cashing in my little ching-a-ching tokens, the cloud, and all this kind of stuff, and my Jupe, and putting it in and staking, because you're staking. So all that said, I think I'm going to unstake the chunk that I would likely sell. So I'm going to unstake probably 2/3 of my tokens after the second quarter from now. So 2 more quarters, I'll unstake what I would want to sell and leave the rest staked. And then I should have at that point a somewhat close to a free position, assuming there is, again, these Jupiter rewards or the quarter is good either way, and the token is performing at or around $1, which I think as we go into a bull market, I think it could make a run, and I think it could be $2, $3, $4, because what happens in a bull market is not necessarily the real world. It's real money. But most people, here's another thing. Most people in a bull market, they tend to hold on. They clutch. Oh no, this time's different. The great reset. This is no, man. You need to take money off the table during a bull market. Don't take all your money off the table, because you never know if Jupe is at $64 next year. You'd be like, Nick told me. Nick didn't tell you shit. Nick just told you what Nick doing. I'm going to take 2/3 off the table after the second rewards 2 quarters from now, 2 more returns from now. That way I'll get to lock in Jupuary. I'll get to lock in another one. I should be looking pretty good. I think most everybody should. And if Solana hasn't completely S the bed, you're good to go. If it has, it is what it is. Cool thing about Jupiter is they're doing a lot of stuff that I don't think is it's I keep getting this feeling that they're going to lean towards Cosmos and some other ecosystems also. I feel like it's not just going to be Solana forever with Jupiter. I don't know. That's just my gut. What do you think?
They're going to be, if anybody's going to branch out and do everything, it's going to be Jupiter. In my opinion, they're busy. They're busy.
Yeah, and they're not stupid. Like, these guys look around, they're like, you know, it is dangerous being pegged to one asset that is, by the way, in the crosshairs of the SEC right now. So anyway, not that the SEC this time 2 weeks from now will even be the SEC. We don't even know what that's going to look like. This is how crazy the next coming couple months are going to be. We could be in the end of November with no Gary Gensler, with $85,000 or $90,000 Bitcoin, and with like a real pro crypto regime, or at least not anti-crypto, a muted Elizabeth Warren. I mean, how crazy would that be? Or
can you imagine?
Or we could have Comrade Kamala. We could have an empowered Elizabeth Warren, choke point 3. Probably Gary Gensler is still getting fired. There's a good chance that no matter who comes in, Gary's on the way out. He's pissed off everyone. He's a genius. He somehow angered everyone. So, because now the SEC is embroiled in all these lawsuits, and they may have botched it with this Ripple lawsuit.
Yeah.
So they took a big gamble appealing that lawsuit. So when they appeal, for those that don't understand how it works, when you appeal, you don't go back to the same judge. You go to the circuit court. In the federal system, you appeal, your judge says XYZ. He's like, I don't like XYZ. I'm going to appeal. When the government appeals, it doesn't go back to that same judge. It goes up to the circuit court. It's the Second Circuit. Their thought is that the Second Circuit, these are different judges now. It's a panel. The idea is that these Second Circuit judges, that it's circuit because the judges used to actually go on a circuit and go hear all these cases. Kind of crazy. But anyway, the thought is they've been anti-crypto in the past. They'll be anti-crypto now. They will then overturn or remand for a better decision. They would remand it back to Judge Torres. That's the idea. That's not a good outcome, because if the Second Circuit, and remember, these are all buddies, if the Second Circuit remands the case, they say, okay, SEC, you're right. We're remanding the case back to Torres on the merits of the appeal. Remember, this is now a streamlined part of the case, not the whole case. That goes back to the judge that just said it. You're the judge, Brandon. You're the judge. You issued your ruling. The SEC, Gary, fat punchable Gary, he says, I don't like your decision. He pushes it to the Second Circuit. The Second Circuit pushes it back to you and says, Brandon, do you want to speak about this again? The SEC wasn't happy with your response.
Oh, it's going to be more harsh this time, isn't it? Oh, boy. Yeah. Trust me. You tell me I'm wrong as a judge? Boy.
Listen, federal judges, they believe themselves to be nearly godlike, and they are not big fans of remands, decisions that are remanded. If it gets remanded, she's a human, she's going to write a decision that is so specific and so scathing that the SEC is not going to, there will be no wiggle room left. None. I think it's a mistake. Now, on the other side of it, they reintroduced some of the stuff against Brad and Chris, basically some parts of the fraud allegations. So Here's the way I look at it. Brad and Chris are crooks, but I don't know if what they did is illegal. And even though I think they are both complete scumbags, technically they're not criminals. If the XRP community of bag holders is okay that these guys lied, cheated, and stole from you and use you every month as their exit liquidity, and you're okay with it, I'm okay with it.
They're okay with it.
Then I'm okay with it.
They're okay.
Yeah, they bought into this cult thing. So I guess I'm like, who really got hurt? If those dudes wanted to give all their money to Brad and Chris, so what? It's no different than a religion
Yep.
with a bunch of people. Give me 10% of your whatever. It's not the same as a religion. This is way worse. But you see what I'm saying? So I guess I don't really care, man. But I don't think what they did is technically illegal. They sold a bunch of jackwagons. It is what it is. Anyway, there's that. So,
yeah.
Crazy.
Beth. Okay, so I'm gonna walk through this really quickly. So, yeah, you do know. Okay, so you have to have a phantom wallet. You have to stake. The staking button's right here. So you would put in 5 jupe and you would hit stake. I don't have any jupe, so stake. Anyway, and then you're staked up. Okay. And from there, you get a vote on your votes. Beth, once you get to this page, I imagine you'll come see your votes right here, okay? These are the 4 votes that were in this quarter. You said you sent your stuff over August 1st, which is perfect, okay? If you voted August 2nd for your first one, it'll say voted. It'll say voted here. It'll say voted here, voted here, and voted here, okay? And what's going to happen if you voted all 4 of those times, each vote is basically worth about 4.25% in rewards. Do not miss a vote. Okay. Anyway, and then you'll come up here where you're going to go right here. This is this button. You're going to go view ASR rewards. Now, your wallet has to be connected. Remember that, Beth. Your wallet has to be connected. You're going to click it, and then you're going to scroll down, and you're going to see rewards right there. Okay. There's no way you didn't get rewards if you voted and if you're properly staked. Now, if you aren't, then you won't get rewards. Now, the other thing I want you guys to start to watch too going forward is this thing right here, this number right here. So this is now the total jupe staked. Okay. We're going to kind of watch that and see how fast it goes down or up. And then you can see how fast people are dumping or unstaking type of thing. It's kind of cool to watch. Last time it held flipping stable, which is cool to watch. You know, it's kind of nice to see that people aren't dumping, and you can kind of tell that in the price too. It held pretty stable, which is great for us. So anyway, that's that on that, Beth. Now, the other thing, do you want to go to markets, or do you want to hear a long story?
Story, obviously.
Did you hear about this? This is crazy. Okay, so you missed the last. There's no way you should miss a vote. So the other last thing before we leave this, see that notify me button? Along with our shows, you can put in your email. It'll email you every time there's a vote. There's going to be a vote this Friday, okay? Don't miss it. Okay, this is for the next quarter. Okay, story time. Let's take this back a year. Do you remember the token called Turbo? By chance, does anybody remember Turbo?
I thought Turbo was the guy, the breakdancer in like it was Turbo and Ozone.
Probably, maybe, who knows? Turbo was a token that was created by a guy. He wanted to prove that ChatGPT was smart enough to create its own token. So he went to ChatGPT, he says, create me a token. Now this launched about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. I remember when this launched, it was kind of a big deal. This was the alternative to Pepe. Pepe is going real strong and real fast. And so he said, hey, let's launch a token, but I don't know anything about coding. I don't know how to launch a meme coin. ChatGPT, help me. So ChatGPT went through and helped him code the token, write it, and put it onto Ethereum, okay? And then they launched some socials. They got Twitter going. They got some engagement. And the token actually took off fairly decently, okay? Now, the reason I tell this story is because it's a precursor to what happened a few days ago.
With Goat?
Yes. Have you heard this story? This is crazy, okay? So, Goat. Now, if you guys haven't heard about Goat, obviously this is an AI designed meme coin, but this is different than the ChatGPT one. And this one goes to the agents of AI and some other things that happen. And this guy does actually a pretty good summary of it, okay? Sorry for the cuss word at the top there. Okay, so 3 months ago, 3 months ago, and I'll just kind of read through this. Mark Andreessen sent 50,000 Bitcoin to an AI agent. We've talked about AI agents. We've talked about how big those are going to be. So he sent $50,000 to this AI agent, okay? What happened was this AI agent that he sent the money to created this, went and found this Twitter bot that was already created. And this Twitter bot was created by Andy Ayery, who created, he created this back room where two LLMs could talk to each other. And these two guys created this truth Terminal. I think it's a Truth Terminal was the name of the Twitter account that it created. Now, this Twitter account got pretty big. It started posting every single day, and it was kind of a proof concept that a bot could go create a Twitter account. Now, they did these where Twitter accounts now are posting, and because X pays revenue, these Twitter accounts are actually making money for the guy who created the bot, but it's all AI. So this Truth Terminal account went and started posting things and crap posting and doing all these kind of weird posts. And it's kind of a hallucinogenic AI version that posts these crazy things. If you go read, I'm not going to read through a lot of them because they're pretty not PG rated. So it says a lot of weird things, but it's using the filters from Twitter that garner the most attention, and it's working. So it started garnering all this attention. And then when this Andreessen guy gave this bot $50,000 in Bitcoin, said, hey, go do your thing. What it did was it started posting about this meme coin called GOAT. And so it started posting about GOAT, and then the agent itself went and bought a bunch of GOAT prior to posting about it. And so it bought about $300,000 worth of GOAT or whatever, or not $50,000 worth of GOAT. And then it started posting about it. It said, GOAT is the way. So on its timeline there, because it had such a following, then it tweeted a meme coin contract address, GOAT. People went and bought this thing. So it worked up. This $50,000 is now worth like $300,000. It launched the meme coin up. Right now, it is sitting at about $375 million market cap, which is pretty insane that this was all AI generated, all because this guy decided to give this AI agent some money. Now, there's a little bit of doubt in here because you'll notice this little dip right here. Boom, right here, okay? This big dip was a huge dip. I think it was like $150 million worth of market cap that it dropped because during that period, this Truth Terminal, and this is the actual Twitter account. Dude, this is great. If you read some of these, there's so many tweets, and this is just a Twitter bot posting every single day. One of these tweets misspelled a word, so everybody's like, "Whoa, this can't be AI. It misspelled a word. This is fake." So then everybody started dumping the token of GOAT and like, this is bullcrap. But it started to since pick up against Steam. But pretty crazy. So the reason that I bring this up is this theory, this concept could lend to what the future of AI is, being that this guy just gave this agent $50,000 and said, go make some money. And now this AI agent that this guy gave $50,000 worth is now worth over $300,000 in GOAT. Plus tons of people are now sending this wallet meme coins and stuff, just like Vitalik's getting meme coins all the time. So essentially, I would say this $50,000 just 10x'd itself in like a week, just by going through crap posting on Twitter, making all these posts, garnering adoption, getting people to buy this token, and now it's making money.
But
pretty crazy.
You run this out along the timeline with a bunch of AI agents doing all this similar behavior, it becomes a point where there's so much noise that none of these things really make money. So I think this is another thing which will arbitrage itself out of existence. And then it'll be like, I think maybe what some of these AI agents in the early days are good at is exploiting unexploited opportunities for a short time before other AI agents figure it out. And then what's going to happen is that time will be smaller and smaller and smaller, and it'll be smaller and smaller gains. I think this meme coin thing is going to end up in just a bunch of spammy nonsense, kind of like the NFT market did, where there's 12 launches a day. And
it already is, dude. It's already BS, man.
But I think it's going to get to the point where people even quit gambling on it, the way they pretty much quit gambling on NFTs.
Yeah, I think so. I agree with you. I think so too. This also goes to show you we don't have a lot of time left before the AI. This is what you're trading against now. How can you beat this? This guy, this Truth Terminal, like it goes through and posts a coherent post every 2 hours that gets hundreds of comments and thousands of views. You can't keep up with that. Can you go post a coherent?
It inspires other people to do, because you can do the same thing. There's nothing stopping you. I'm guessing at a point, Twitter or X, whatever we're calling it, they're going to say, hey, you can't use AI bots to do this, which doesn't matter because then you'll just do it behind the scenes and push it through a person. They won't know.
They won't know. It's an LLM.
Right. So what's going to happen is it's going to become a big old spam fest. And then the other side of it is, who's going to be reading all this shit? Well, only a bunch of rejects, or people are going to have AI systems reading all this stuff and curating it. So it's going to be AI spam posting and AI reading all this spam and summarizing it, probably for another AI agent. It's never going to get back to us. I guess is what I'm saying is there's going to be a point where we are completely removed. It won't even be humans involved in social media. I have the new iPhone, and it's got a cool thing where it'll summarize all these emails, and it will summarize, you know, when you have like 10 emails in a chain, it summarizes all of it.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's really cool.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And so now I don't even read the email. I just look at the summary. And if it's a chain of emails, I just look at that summary, the summary of the summaries.
Oh, geez. That's crazy.
Yeah. Okay. Should we look at markets?
Yeah, let's look at markets. Heck.
Look at some markets. Heck. Oh, yeah. Look at these markets. Let's see. All right. The corn sitting at 67.2. So it's still up on the week, 2%, down today, 2%, up on the, it's almost a green sheet, and it was earlier. We'll see. This is going to be a messy few months. So we'll see what happens there. Down just a bit is Ethereum. Everything's pretty much flat or down just a bit. Sui's been kind of clinging to this range of like, say, $1.95 to like 210-ish. It's been kind of range bound. It's down about 10%.
I'm surprised it hasn't dropped back down to like $1.70. I thought it would. I was waiting to add any more until like $1.70, but
didn't really get beat up. I'm just dollar cost averaging. Aptos is starting to melt in the other direction. It's starting now to stay more above 10 than beneath it.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm interested there. And remember, look at how remarkably close these two market caps are. I still think that you buy them in equal portions.
Yeah, I think so.
I think you just want an equal dollar position and then just kind of see what happens. Sui is getting 4% rewards over on Bitrue. Aptos is like 1.5%. It was at one point 10%. It went 10%, 8%, 3%, and now it's 1.5%, which ain't shit.
No, don't stake anything.
No,
unless it's liquid, maybe. Like Sui staking is a 24-hour, and that's fine for 3%.
Yeah,
that's
if I just don't know enough about that network to know if a validator can run off with your stuff.
Oh, there is. Yeah, that's why I haven't. Oh, this might be good to talk about. That's why I haven't staked Sui, is because there is slashing possibility. So you can get some things taken. So I haven't staked any Sui. It's not worth it to me yet for 3%. So.
Yeah, AI agent talk is heating up. I don't know if there's anything new that's exciting. I know that, again, for anybody who doesn't know, I unstaked all of my fetch, and so I'm just waiting for it to thaw. Not that I'm going to sell it, but I want to be able to sell it. If there's any kind of a real run over $2, I'm going to start unloading it. Now, I'm not going to sell it. I'm not selling all of anything because you never know, but I am going to probably sell another half of what I've got left. So I did my 10x take 20 and my 2x take 10. So I grabbed all of those. I was late on the 10x take 20, so I ended up kind of doing a little bit better than I probably would have just because it took so long to get it done, but not as good as if I had done it when AGIX and all those popped up in the $3 range with fetch. So long story short, I'm kind of waiting. If there's a move above $2, I'm going to start exiting about half of that fetch position. I'm not going to stake it because I want to have my finger on the trigger and be able to unload it, whenever I need to. That's just where my head's at right now. We'll see once we get past this election. I think there's going to be a lot of reshuffling into November and December as we see where the world is. We're just about 2 weeks away from a lot of craziness. So I think our minds are all going to be in a different place, and I can't imagine what we'll be thinking 2 or 3 weeks from now. So I'm pushing pause. We talked about this last night too, is I'm not investing in anything new. I'm not dumping anything. I'm just kind of waiting to see what happens really with this election. But yeah, the timeline, think about the near-term timeline is Twin launches tomorrow. Any price thoughts for that, Brandon? What do you think the first day is going to look like?
They're launching at a pretty good time. I think the market sentiment's decent. Still, here's the only downside is we still have, and the problem is Google is not a good indicator anymore because Google, I think, is less used since we have ChatGPT, we have Grok, we have all those, we have TikTok. People are searching on TikTok now versus Google, right? So Google Trends isn't as reliable as it used to be, and a lot of retail investors still aren't searching for Bitcoin and stuff right now. So that is the buyer that we typically would need for like a new TG, a new launch. But market sentiment's pretty good. Just a lot of institutional buyers more so than I think retail investors. All the retail investors are on meme coins right now, which could be decent, but it depends on their marketing. I just don't think the marketing's out there. So I think maybe we see a quick run up 20 to 50 cents. I know that's a big spread, but like depending on the bot action, and we see kind of where it lies after that. Who knows?
Yeah, it's I think it's day one probably pushes it between 35 to 50 cents. It should tick up in that. I mean, this is me guessing. It would tick up in that area. And then I think it settles back in the, say, 15 to 25 cent range. But if they continue to lay down news and, some cool press and things and good propaganda, then, and also the token is kind of a one-way token. It will be utilized to build your twins. So once they have those early stages of building twins, the token is like a one-way token.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be accretive. The private clients and everybody that got into the twin token on November 21st, there or about, that'd be 30 days after the launch. Not only will you get your twin tokens, your first your interest payment, but those of you that want to take your in twin and convert them to twin will be able to do that. So all that stuff will happen third week of November. Then we have 3 to 4 weeks later, we would have the launch for Libra, and we may have some more clarity on what those pools might look like. The revenue sharing pools that's being worked on, so that's gonna be really cool. That's kind of where we're at. Oh yeah, and that little election thing happening.
Jeez. That's controlling the world right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I wouldn't say any which way either. Even no matter what Polymarket says, I still think it's close. Like who knows? Nobody knows.
I don't think it's close.
You don't think so?
No, I feel like a lot of the rhetoric coming from the Kamala camp is that they're finding ways to explain why she's going to lose. I really think it's turning in that direction. We'll see.
I hope so.
But I think
I'm not one that likes to get their hopes up prior to a sure deal.
I just think she has so botched every opportunity to sound like a real human.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I agree. She had bad coaching. I heard she like absolutely tore her. What was what's that dinner? The Catholic dinner, right? So she phoned it in. She gave a video of her and that SNL skit person. They phoned in a video rather than actually showing up to the dinner. Oh. And I guess that went horribly, right? Because
I'm sure they were. Yeah.
Donald Trump showed up and he like won the crowd over for 20, 25 minutes, just absolutely killed it, right? And so she phoned in a video and the video just absolutely did not land at all.
Have you seen what Donald Trump has been doing? They've just been taking clips of Kamala talking and just saying, this was approved by the re-election campaign for Donald Trump.
I've seen this, and this is very unfortunate because I'm sure she's a great person, but just not for president, right? And it's just unfortunate. And so good for her, but like honestly, nothing negative about her personally. I just don't think she should be president. Now, anyway, after that dinner, I guess she just absolutely tore apart her campaign manager, just ripped her apart. I guess she was screaming at her for like an hour straight. So
can you imagine having Kamala dress you down just in the way she talks? She'd be like, Brandon.
Oh man,
listen, Brandon.
I'm talking.
I grew up in a small, Midwestern, and then I had bacon every other day. I like to have the bacon with my kid. Like, Come on, are you going to yell at me or what? Like, just yell
What is
at me.
happening? What is
Oh, yeah,
happening?
shit, man. Just yell at me.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
There's no thing. This is no thing. Listen. Don't now listen to me. Answer the question, yes or no, man.
If she just said Linda one time after one of those, I'd be okay with it. Now listen, Linda. Oh, geez. I don't know, man. I think you could be right. I mean, the rest of the world probably sees it a little clearer than we do here with our media oversight. So we'll see.
Well, and everybody's like, oh, there's just a bunch of rich people pushing these betting markets. Yeah, but they're not doing it to light money on fire. They want
That's
to
what I
money.
said. Like, do they really want to light their millions of dollars on fire? That's hard. That's a stretch.
That's a lot. Anyway,
do you want to sway a market by betting $20 million you know you're going to lose? Don't know. Don't know.
Okay, so my advice, which you shouldn't take, just do your own thing. But my second piece of advice, other than the piece of advice of not following my advice, I wouldn't do anything right now, man. I would do nothing for the next couple of weeks. Sit on your hands. Still make a list of the assets that you consider quality and the things you'd be willing to part ways with and the things that you wouldn't be willing to part ways with. That's how I'm playing all this. I'm quietly observing. And I'm gonna see what's gonna happen. I don't know. Again, my Bitcoin plan is if Bitcoin is in all-time high territory around election time, I'm pulling half off the table into cash. I'm gonna wait and see. If it is not, then I'm gonna let it ride because I don't think the downside is as much. If we haven't hit all-time highs, I don't think the downside is that bad of a Kamala win. I mean, there will be a near-term blip. But if we're in all-time high area, then I think there's more to risk, and I probably take half my Bitcoin off the table. I'm not taking any of my Ethereum off the table because Ethereum hasn't made its run yet, and I think that has nothing to do with this landscape. It has everything to do with Grayscale shitting the bed, and at some point, there's no Grayscale left. Like there's nothing left for people to sell. Grayscale is like crypto communism. At some point, you run out of everybody else's stuff to give away. So at some point, Grayscale is going to run out of the fund will just be like the only people left will be people who are too lazy to get out. That'll be it. They're just like, I don't care. That group of people, which there'll always be some. And then I think Ethereum just rockets the other direction. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, I'm not doing anything. You guys asked about a hypercycle update. I can tell you some things.
Ooh.
So we should have, if everything goes as planned, we should be launching the V2 manager today or tomorrow. So Wednesday, I should be able to do a walkthrough of that so that you guys can upgrade and get your hypershares going. Now, I will tell you two things very clearly. Tilling is not going to stop as of now. So don't worry about rushing into this thing. If gas is high, don't worry about creating your hypershares. We are also creating an incentive to have hypershares made very soon. We're working on that.
What?
I can tell you two things about that. One, you will get rewarded for having hypershares made that will be very motivational. Okay, number one. Number two, node market holders will get rewarded, or node market NFT holders will get rewarded more. That's it.
That's a pretty good 1 and 2.
That's 1 and 2. Very clear. Very
create
clear.
hypershares. Win. Create hypershares and own node market NFTs. Win more.
That's right.
Okay. And on that note, we'll bid you adieu. We'll see you tomorrow, office hours. And stay in school. Don't do drugs. Don't do anything that my poor, insolvent, drunk, strung out on meth grandmother or Brandon wouldn't do. What's the old weather like down there, buddy? What's that old weather like?
Cold. It's 38 degrees right now. It says on my watch. 38.
Yeah, it's gonna be 83. It's gonna be 83 here today.
Yeah, but it's gonna warm up to at least 59.
What a cold hell. What a cold hell you live, sir.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
mystified, wandering mind, the seams have come undone. You've been telling lies to these eyes as if they'd never seen the sun. Now you've let your guard down and your heart is exposed. Now you've let your guard down, but how could you have known that I'm the big fish round here? You're a small fish. I could make you disappear. You should know this. I'm the big fish round here. You're a small fish.